Welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. Back from a week vacation, fully energized and excited to talk with Donna Bauman, our Parks and Recreation Director. How are you today?
I'm well. Good afternoon, Reynoldsburg. How are you?
Not too bad.
Rested?
I know you had, as rested as somebody can be when they spend a week in Florida doing Disney World type stuff.
Understood.
You're fresh off of getting trained for CPR, so
Yes.
if anything really weird happens, I'm in good hands today.
We've got it. Jasmine can be my backup.
There we go. So let's start off just talking about a couple of really big things. We talked a little bit at the council on Monday night. We were able to get grant funding for improvements to 2 parks, improvements to 1 park, and really new stuff for another one.
Correct.
So tell us about what's coming our way.
All right. So we were given a funding initiative through the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association and Game Time to put in some adaptive playground equipment. There were a lot of rules that we had to follow. So this is what's going to be going out at Huber Park. We will take that out after the Tomato Festival. There will be swing bays that'll be accessible. We're going to pretty much keep that same footprint that we have right now. We'll have sidewalks that will lead to it as well, so that if you are if you need to use that for access, you can get there. And then, that's McPherson Park. Oh no, wait.
No, that was Huber Park.
Oh, I did not bring McPherson Park. I apologize. We'll have to get the McPherson one out. But McPherson Park will also be getting new playground equipment.
We can go to a commercial break.
Yeah, we need a commercial break. McPherson Park will have so Huber Park is going to be a 2 to 12 structure. So the platforms are lowered so that the little kids can get on it as well. McPherson Park will have a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12 structure. And it will also have basically kind of the same layout, except it's going to be a much taller structure, so it's going to be a tower. And there will also be a swing bay and musical instruments around the perimeter, as well as same with Huber. So we expect to start Huber after the Tomato Festival. McPherson we hope to begin as soon as hopefully by mid to end of July, maybe early part of August. But they both have to be done by December 31st.
Which is always a good thing.
Yes.
That's a nice thing when you get grants that they say you have to have the project complete by a certain time. It just provides a little extra incentive.
Just a little extra incentive to get it done. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your efforts in getting that in there.
I apologize for not having McPherson.
It's all right. we'll see what happens.
Be surprised.
So the other thing that you guys are in, I would say you're almost like neck deep in, is this Parks Master Plan.
Yes.
So this is not a simple thing. This is a long-lasting, incredibly in-depth way for you to ask me for money.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, to figure out exactly what everybody wants in the community. So talk a little bit
Ask
about
me for money.
where we're at and what you can share about what some of the early feedback that you've seen from this report.
So we're nearing the end. We hope to be going before council on September 14th to showcase the findings. And it's a thick document, lots of lines, but we're going to take it and put it in more like a brochure type read, so that it'll make it a little bit easier to read. Right now we're finding a lot of what the community wants, more accessibility, more connectivity, more adult programming, outdoor swimming pool, a community rec center. So those are really at the top of their spectrum of their mind right now. So hopefully we can figure out a way to try to incorporate some of what they want. I'm not saying that everything will be done, but they've also told us things like, you know what? You don't have enough trash cans out here. You don't have enough park benches. You don't have enough picnic tables. Playground equipment needs improved. Bathrooms need spruced up a little bit more. So they've gone into depth of a lot of things, and also let our programming. So soon they'll also be able to tell us, you know what, this program, you really are not having a lot of registration. It's just struggling to hang on. Maybe it's time to retire it and to look into different new areas. And right now, nature really seems to be number one programming that people are wanting. They want to get out in nature, get into the creeks, look at the trees, look at the bugs. And so that's one of the things we've really already spruced up. So we're seeing a lot of registration for that as well.
That's good. It's good to get the feedback with it, regardless of what it says, because it is a master plan, this will help kind of guide what we're going to be doing over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Correct. From everything from programming to spacing, and obviously the fun stuff that we'll get into at some point in time in the future. We all know that Civic Park is right there. Now that we've been able to identify some funding streams, we're going to be moving forward with some cool things with that.
Yes.
Now, I just have to ask, what are some of the more successful summer and fall programs? We know that soccer is always going to be fun and things like that, but is there anything else? You mentioned nature a little bit. What else? What else is everybody kind of like
the
jumping
nature,
to?
and then it seems like anything we offer at Eastside Brewing is very popular. So our Puzzle Palooza, our cornhole, bingo, all of that is very popular right now.
Yep. So there's always some fun stuff going on with that one. I know that there is adult prom coming up in the fall.
Yes.
It's always good. You've been there a couple of times.
Yes.
I don't think you were there last year,
No.
but it was not in protest because you didn't got prom queen the year before.
I don't want
So this year, we know how this is going to work. So, anything else that I have not talked about that we need to discuss?
Well, if I could, I have a few things. So July is National Parks and Recreation Month, and so we will be doing a lot of things to showcase the Parks and Recreation theme, which is power of connection, power of play, community, nature, belonging, and well-being. So one of the first things we're going to start in July, which will run only for July, is our tomato hunt. So we will have little tomatoes hiding throughout the different parks to showcase the themes, and you can go out, pick up one of these from the office, or you'll be able to download it yourself once we get the link going on our Facebook page. And then when you find all of the tomatoes, then you'll be eligible for a small prize.
There you go.
Another one is our America 250 challenge that we're doing. So this is a walking, biking, running challenge where we're asking residents to get out, get active, and enjoy the parks. And if you can run, walk, bike 250 miles, then we will put you also in for another swag basket at the end of it. That one runs till December 31st. Right. So we've already had a few people who have completed 250, and they're going on to their next 250. So we ask everyone to go ahead and get involved with that. We have a back to school bash coming up in collaboration with Kids on the Block, and that will be held August 2nd at Huber Park. And downstairs at City Hall here, we have a collection box if you would like to donate school supplies. So they will give out backpacks filled with school supplies. There's a limited number, so it's a first come, first serve, but there'll be more information on that as well. First Friday is going to be August 7th at Huber Park, and that's where we will have a live band. We will have bounce houses, we'll have food trucks, and the movie that evening is National Treasure. This is the next one coming up that I want to ask people to start registering for. That is our Heroes for Heroes 5K obstacle course held out at Civic Park. This is going to be our 13th year that we've held it. All proceeds go to Hope for the Warrior. So please register for that. And registration is on runsignup.com. I'd like to talk about our little composting initiatives, our sustainability that we're doing. Our food waste composting, we have drop-off out at Huber Park, the Spangler Field entrance. And so far to date, we've collected 13,425 pounds of food waste. So that is just amazing. Also, the plastic bag and film recycling that we are doing, they've changed it up. We have to submit quarterly now.
Because we're too successful, let's be honest. We're too good at
We are very good. So far this year, we've collected 807 pounds. And for every 250 pounds you get within the quarter, so they've done it by quarter now, your name gets put into a hat to be drawn for a prize. So we have a couple chances already for that. Another thing I've been kind of looking into just to see how well Reynoldsburg is doing with our recycling initiatives. So far this year, we've collected 836 ton of recycling at your curb. So that's great. Way to go, Reynoldsburg.
Just from my house?
Just your house. I know. And,
Amazon.
And we have electronics recycling here at City Hall as well. We don't have a number on that, but that's been huge because I see those bins full every other day. Yes. Operation Pollination is going on. So this is if residents want to do some intentional plantings with native species in their yards. There's an application to fill out, and we'll get back to you on that. And then the last thing I really need to talk about is the Tomato Festival pageant. You have until the 25th to register. King, Queen, thank you, sir. So we do need some more registrations for our high schoolers. So if you're interested, please complete that registration. And for our senior King and Queen, you have to be 65 and be nominated. So if you would like to nominate someone, please feel free to do so. Let's see what's on that's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yes.
Well, I have something for you because you mentioned it earlier, and in spite of the fact that you didn't bring the McPherson Park information with you, I am going to present you with a proclamation recognizing the Parks and Rec Department for everything. I did not want to wait until July because we're going to be very busy in July, and there's a lot of things going on. So Whereas Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near the parks. Maybe not those who run the parks, but definitely who participate with the parks. Whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illness such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities, providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote a healthy and active lifestyle. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leader of healthy meals, nutrition, services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Reynoldsburg Parks and Recreation is committed to providing safe, fun, and accessible parks, trails, recreation facilities, and leisure opportunities for all Reynoldsburg citizens, and whereas the House of Representatives has designated July as Park and Recreation Months, now I, Joe Baggany, Mayor of the City of Reynoldsburg, proclaim July 2026 as Parks and Recreation Month. So go ahead and do this one.
Cheese.
We'll get this. We'll get the picture.
Oh.
Yeah, because I knew that one.
I was gonna say.
Oh no, we can give
Should we put the crowns on? No.
I think if we put the crowns on, somebody's going to run in
That's
here.
right, because they'll be coming out of the bag.
Yeah. And if this isn't made for good viewing, I don't know what does.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So I will go ahead and pass this on to you, and thank you to you and your staff and everyone that does everything, not only the stuff that you see, but especially the stuff that you could typically don't see. The people that are out lining the fields and cutting the grass and things like that. It's not just everybody at those particular things. So thank you very much, and we'll have some more fun, especially at the 4th of July fireworks that are just on the way.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
The 250 walk, is there a registration for that?
Yes, and they can go to My Rec and find the registration. Just put America 250, and that will come up, and it'll get you your tracking sheet too.
Perfect, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yeah, you're going to take the crowns.
Yes,
if not,
because you
you're gonna-
know.
Somebody's already standing outside the door at the moment. All right, so that's the first of a wonderful cavalcade of our guests. Now we have the Reynoldsburg representative from the library system, Lauren Hagan. Come on down. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No, I'm happy to have you back on the show.
Yes.
Last time we talked, it was around about a year ago,
Yeah.
maybe a little less than that. So, anything fun going on in books?
Oh, lots of
I
fun
figured
things
as
going
much.
on in books. The summertime is a busy time at the library, especially at the Reynoldsburg branch. So lots of fun activities coming up. The Summer Reading Challenge is well underway, but you can still sign up for that through July 31st, and that's open to everybody, kids and parents and grandparents included. We have lots of great prizes, and we really want everybody to spend time reading this summer.
Well, it's been fun because I know that we got asked everything's starting to blur at this time of the year with all the events, but probably about a month and a half ago we got asked about, all right, what are some of city staffs and elected officials, like what are your favorite books and things like that. And it was really interesting to see kind of the differences and the different types of books that everybody was putting out there, as well as people that get more involved. The Reynoldsburg reading group that comes to the library every so often. So it's definitely a huge thing. I mean, it's not as spectacular as, the Pizza Hut small pepperoni pizza that everybody used to get when we were growing up, because
Yes.
those were awesome. But there's always something going on. So what else do we need to be aware of that's coming up?
Of course. Well, we do have Mikey's Late Night Slice is one of the coupons that you can get if you participate in the reading challenge. But a couple of things coming up at the branch. So for family events, on Thursday, June 25th, we have a K-pop Demon Hunters Golden Dance Party. So that will be a lot of fun. On Tuesday, July 7th, the Farm Animals on the Lawn featuring Bring the Farm to You. And then, it's so fun. We actually have had, unfortunately we're not going to have this at Reynoldsburg, but we are having goat yoga at some of our locations. So check out our website if you want to travel to another location to try out some goat yoga. And then every Thursday morning at 10:30, we have story time on the lawn. Just make sure to bring a blanket, and that's always a great time for families. And then in terms of adult and community programs and events, we have a community game night. It's on the second Tuesday of every month from 5 to 6 p.m. We also have a creative corner for adults on the third Tuesday of the month. You can either bring your own materials or try an idea that we have there for folks to create alongside each other. And then we have a tech power hour on Thursdays at 10 a.m. and that is one-on-one support for anyone looking to better understand how to access our ebooks, our streaming materials, our mobile app, and much, much more there. And then this is fun too. Check out some music at the library. We have Nacho Saxadias on July 27th, and the Celtic Strings Duo in August on the 13th.
That would be pretty cool. That's a lot of stuff going on.
Lots of stuff going on. We also, I gotta plug the book festival.
Oh, please do.
So
yes.
the book festival will be hosted at Main Library downtown on Grant Avenue on July 11th and 12th. It's open to anyone and it's free for all of the public. We have over 200 authors coming with the festival marketplace. We have a lot of bookish retailers there. There's entertainment, there's food trucks, an indie author alley, and then in the Friends of the Library big book tent sale is always a huge draw. So that is coming, and hopefully the weather cooperates for
Fingers
us.
crossed. Well, I know that we had some members of the staff that were able to attend the Holocaust exhibit that was up. It was nice for me, and because I'm a former history teacher, I have to judge everything, and so I'm looking, yep, correct, and all. But it was just nice that it was presented in such a way that everybody of all ages could look at it and understand it, and it wasn't above anybody's head, but it also got to the point of what the issues were with the Holocaust and the things leading up to it. So I appreciate that. I would love to see at some point in time, some of these other exhibits coming out here. The Goat Yoga, I mean, that would be fun to have at Reynoldsburg at some point in time. Now, I have to ask you a very serious question.
Sure.
Have you made it out to Bryce Park yet?
I haven't.
Okay,
I
so
have not.
Try imagining getting two different municipalities to get everyone scheduled together to do a grand opening for something that's been open for about 3 months now. We are looking for July 22nd,
Okay.
and it's going to be at 3:30, and we're going to do the whole thing, and that's the official grand opening of the park right across the street from you.
Fantastic.
So that's going to be good. We'll make sure and get you an
Okay,
invitation
I
with
appreciate
that
that.
one. But I think that entire Bryce Road corridor is going to change over the next couple of years because the library itself, the Alliance Place right next door, we are going to be realigning the intersection so people will stop driving into brick walls, which is always a plus.
a good thing.
And all of these things, plus the library itself, that is always going to be a special place for me because that was the first thing that from beginning to end was something that I was able to kind of follow along and work with the city to get that taken care of. It's a beautiful facility. It's always busy. It's always a cool thing to have there. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
Let me think. I think there's just always lots of things going on, and check out any of our other locations too. But
Just
Reynoldsburg is a shining star, of course. The space is so well utilized. The kids area has so many tremendous things that people can check out. The teen area is actually my favorite space in that building. We actually had teens from the community help us design that, and that's something that's unique to the system. And so I think it's always very busy. I actually spent the day working at the branch a couple months ago, and so active, and the tech area is really busy. So know that you can copy, print, fax, and also get things notarized at the library.
It's cool. I think I know I've said this before, people don't realize that a library, yes, there are books. We kind of accept that, but there's so many other things that a library is able to offer. And when you talk about in today's world, when people are trying to look for a job, and if they don't have internet access, or if it's too hot out and they want to, go somewhere where it's cool so they can do some of those things, that is the perfect location for it.
Absolutely.
So, well, we're happy to have you here. We're happy to participate in all sorts of fun activities, and hopefully maybe one day goat yoga, because I'll participate in that, because that would be a fun thing.
Well, I'll let Amanda, the branch manager, know, because the branch teams coordinate and schedule the events that happen at their location. So we'll let her know that we'll get Mayor Begney out there for some goat yoga if we can get that scheduled.
I mean, why not?
I know,
it's
right?
Be a fun thing. Well, I appreciate it. If there's anything that we can do, obviously I'm happy to go and tell the State House that we want to make sure to keep our libraries funded the way that they do, because without you, a lot of people would be lost. Really, side note, I actually read an article earlier today that they were talking about a teacher who decided to go ahead and just kind of shelve all the digital stuff and used only actual printed books for everything. Scores went up, vocabulary, all of these other things. It's amazing that something like that could be done, and they did it through their local public library. So
read the physical books.
Yes, it's
I've
much more
been
fun.
making sure that was a requirement for my children this summer. They can't read on their iPad. It has to be their 15 minutes a day, a physical book.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you again soon, I'm
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
All right, so we've got our Parks and Recreation activity, and apparently, did she bring in a picture?
She did.
Yeah, I figured she would bring in a picture. So this is McPherson Park, and for those of you that don't know, McPherson Park is actually off Rodabaugh Road, and we'll go ahead and show you a picture of this as we welcome our next guest. So there you go, McPherson Park. That is right off Rodabaugh, kind of on the east side of Wagner Road. And yes, I will talk more about Wagner Road in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, let's go to the really fun thing. Not only are you here just to talk about, obviously everything going on with the community band, but aren't you guys performing in Reynoldsburg this weekend?
Yes, we are. Sunday night, 6:30 at Livingston House.
Yeah.
we are kicking off the official Reynoldsburg celebration for America 250.
There you
Which
go.
I will say kind of last Friday, Juneteenth, kind of to me starts a celebration of freedom.
Yep.
This continues the freedom and for the whole country. And we're playing kind of a mix of music between our Americana is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I figured that would be kind of the big thing that you would do. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It's always a good thing, but I also know that we're not the only place that you guys play. I know you've had a couple of other performances already. I know a few members of the community band. So tell us a little bit about, if somebody wants to participate, where can they see you, that type of thing.
Okay, well, a little bit about our history. We started in 1997. I am Joe Cooper, a tuba player, but also the concert manager. We do have a board because we're a nonprofit agency. And so we started in 1997, and actually the grandson of our original director is a member of our band. And we still have about 5 or 6 original members still from back then.
Don't
So-
say back then. It's 1997. That wasn't that. Let's just go
I
with it.
graduated high school in 94, so it's a few years before
It's
that.
a few years. Just
Yeah.
a few.
But to join our band, you can go to reynoldsburgcommunityband.org or Friends of the Reynoldsburg Community Band on Facebook. And we just ask that you're either in high school or an adult. For me, I did not play my tuba for 20 years. And a friend of mine kept begging me, Joe, you have a tuba at home? Yeah. Do you play it? No. About a year or two later, I finally thought, I'll dust this off, see if it still works. And to be honest, I am so glad that I did.
Just brings a little bit more back to it, especially for people that have that connection to music. So that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty
so I mean, we welcome, like I said, if you played in high school or if you're currently in high school, maybe during marching band season you don't march for one reason or another and you want to play. Well, during marching band season is about when we start preparing for our Christmas concerts because it does take a long time to prepare the music, so it's, to me, proper.
Oh, absolutely. No, because you want to be able to do, because I know that you've obviously have been at the tree lighting ceremonies and things like that and continue to do other
Yes.
locations. I've seen you all around. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. This weekend, it's going to be Sunday night at the Livingston House, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Anytime you get to go there now, you have the Grateful Dead following. That was the last concert, so you got a lot to live up to with that one.
Correct.
So definitely, we are definitely going opposite end of the spectrums on the musical there, but that's kind of the fun thing about it. So I know I'm looking forward to it. Anything else you want to share with us that we haven't covered?
July 13th, we'll be at the Reynoldsburg Senior Center. We do practice at the Senior Center during the summer and Baldwin Road Junior High School during the winter. We play typically June, July, August, the second Monday during the summer, and we do have a Christmas concert, which obviously is not outdoors at the Senior Center, but it depends on the weather. We're either outdoors and indoors at the Senior Center. We can also play Park of Roses,
That's
different
the one
churches.
I was trying to remember which one I saw you, and I knew it was Park of Roses.
Park of Roses last year, which I will say we nailed that performance somehow. It was, and we recorded it. It just sounded wonderful. And our director, Aaron Jackson, he has really stepped our band up for a whole another level, which I think adds to the enjoyment of the members and also the audience.
Well, our goal, I know that we've had the conversation about, we've had Donna on earlier talking about Civic Park and having some sort of an amphitheater at that location. So when those revisions are done, that would be a perfect place to be there. So that's on the agenda as well. All right, so we'll see you Sunday night.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So a huge week here. We've got everything from Parks and Recreation and everything going on from that. We also have the library system and everything going on with that. And we haven't even gotten to the other stuff yet. Do we have any questions so far about anything?
Do you have one question if you want to get to that first?
Sure, let's go for it.
Says, Mr. Mayor, I'm curious, not to change the subject, but the used car lot on East Livingston Avenue, west of Bryce Road, called Magnum Motors. The grass is so high, people have to stand in the street to get on the bus. I'm just wondering if that is in Reynoldsburg.
I will look, and I'll come back into the chat just to make sure, because once you get to Livingston and Livingston and Bryce Road, everything basically, and I'm not going to get too directionally challenged, but everything basically west and on the south side is the city of Columbus. If it's on our side, it's us, but only to a certain extent. So I will check into that and put that back into the chat. But if they haven't been cited at this point in time, they probably will be, just because obviously that's something that we want to try and take care of, especially in that area. But I will follow up on that one. All right, so other things as we kind of going on, we did have a council meeting this past weekend, and so there are two items that I wanted to talk about. One, the first part of legislation for this year's street program went up. It is based off of our engineer's estimate, which is around $4 million. It is out to bid right now, so hopefully we will get the bids in. I want to say, is it this Friday or next Friday? One of the next 2 Fridays, and then it'll be on the agenda for the first meeting in July. If you want to know what streets are included in this year's budget, in this year's proposal, you can go ahead and go to online to our website, go to our GIS, and there's a little tab in there that you can pick for street programs, and you can see everything that we've done for the last few years and everything coming up the next couple of years. So we're looking forward to seeing how that goes. It's a pretty healthy street budget this year. Again, we focus on a lot of areas where they're, they're bad roads but good curbs, but with a couple of major projects included like Berkey all the way throughout with a water line addition in there as well. So that's one thing. The other one, the first piece of legislation for Bryce Road. As you know, earlier this year, we were able to secure $2 million from the federal government to go ahead and make improvements to the Bryce Road intersection. And because it's $2 million from the government, there is a lengthy process to go through. So basically, the first step was authorizing the actual engineering to go through. This project is not, you're not going to see a shovel in the ground in this area until probably 2028, the middle of 2028. So we got a long way to go before we get to that point, but there are a lot of things that we have to go through. The quick version is this: the intersection is going to be realigned, and it's going to be done in phases over 2 years. So basically 28 and 29, it's going to be going from the intersection to about Ragosa, and then Ragosa all the way to Livingston. And there's going to be some improvements in terms of stormwater, street lighting. We're going to put some dedicated curbs for bike paths and things like that in there, kind of break up some of the concrete in that area, which will go well with our Bryce Park, with the library, and with everything going on in the Alliance Center. So I'm really excited about that. It is going to be a long time. It's going to be some time, but we will continue to keep everybody updated on the progress for that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about something that we all know, 4th of July. Due to a number of different issues that we've seen in communities, and especially with what they call this teen takeover of stuff, we decided that we wanted to be as proactive as we were with the Tomato Festival. And we're going to go ahead and change some of the guidelines for this. So basically, anyone who's 18 and over can attend, but if you want to bring someone else with you, you have to be 21 and over. If you're driving in, you can come and pick up your parking pass like this. Ta-da! And it's on pretty paper, so you can come in and get your parking pass here, and then you will also be given your wristbands. Everybody gets a wristband. It doesn't matter how old you are, everybody gets a wristband. And it is for Reynoldsburg residents, so they can come in. We've already had a number of people come in and pick the parking pass up and everything else. But this is done specifically to make sure that our community is safe and managed, and that way we can all enjoy the fireworks and the celebration of America 250 in just a couple of weeks. Now, if you have circumstances where there's a little bit of different, you have somebody else that is, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, and things like that, like I do, that may be interested in coming, we'll have those conversations at that point in time. Or if you have a larger family, instead of a family of 8, you have a family of 10, because of how all of that works, there are things that we can do and work with you on that. There is going to be a couple of different changes as you enter Civic Park. One, if you have your parking pass, you're going to get through a lot easier. If you do not have your parking pass, you're going to be diverted off to a different road. And if you're a Reynoldsburg resident, we'll get you one and get you back into the park. If you are not a Reynoldsburg resident, then you will be asked to go somewhere else. That's just kind of the way that part is. If you are walking into Civic Park, there are going to be a couple of gated opportunities for you to enter, specifically on Doherty. You will have the opportunity to show your wristband if you have them, or you will collect them at that particular location after residency requirements are verified. This is not something that we're like, hey, I can't believe we are doing this. It's going to be so much fun. This is definitely proactive to make sure that we can continue to provide that safe space for everybody to celebrate. So I appreciate everybody's support in this. I know it's not easy and it's not a change, but we also said the same thing about the Tomato Festival, and the Tomato Festival did very well with it. Now it's kind of just the standard all the way across. Hopefully this fad of teen takeovers and whatnot will go away in the very near future. But if you have questions about it, please reach out to us here at City Hall. There's always going to be somebody at the desk to go ahead and pass out your parking passes and wristbands. They're there every day, basically, today, tomorrow, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., in addition to our regular business hours. And then next week, again, Monday through Thursday, from basically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., you can come in and pick those items up all the way across. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Okay, well, there's no questions, so we'll just go ahead and move on. Couple of other things with it. We do have another fun event on the 4th of July. It's on Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. It's actually at the VFW. The VFW is going to have their amazing post out there, so they're going to do some cool things out there for celebration. And it's always a good opportunity to support our VFW in there. Those that have fought and served in the United States Army, a lot of those individuals get to go to that location, and we want to make sure that we support them as well. They also do breakfasts on the weekends and things like that. All right, going on to the next thing, we have our 8th annual Rosie Nix Youth Football Camp coming up. So this is going to be June 27th, and it's registration at 9. The camp begins at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and admission is free at the Livingston campus. You'll also get a whole bunch of cool things in there as well. And again, former NFL player and local guy, Rosie Nix, will be there. If you can't make it this one, there's another opportunity. Ashton Doolin from the Indianapolis Colts. So far, the only NFL team in Indianapolis, though that may change. Sorry, Bears fan, have to vent a little on that one. He's going to be having a community fun day Saturday, July 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's also at the Livingston campus. And to help support things going on the same weekend as our Tomato Festival, we have the Mulligan Golf Tournament for Heart Food Pantry and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. Lawrence Funderburk, Meredith Lawson Rowe, and I are going to be kind of headlining a little bit of that, not for our games necessarily, or at least not for me, but we are out there to kind of promote this opportunity to support Heart Food Pantry as well as the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. It's at Westchester Golf Course. It's $125 per golfer, or if you have a team for $500, you can do that. There are a lot of great prizes, closest to the pin, long drive, as well as, again, it's a 4-person scramble, so if you don't play golf really well, your other 3 teammates can help you out and all of that stuff, so it's not just completely on you. And believe it or not, I did make a couple of shots that counted the last time, and we were by far and away we had the highest score out of everybody, so we were above everybody else in that. And it's a shame that golf goes in scoring in reverse. As far as other things that have come up over the last little bit, we have gotten a lot of concerns from residents about the electronic motorcycle bikes and things like that for both adults and kids. There are laws on the book, but we are working to provide some information to the community about some things that they have to do and some requirements. And if we need to put a couple of different things like some other communities have done as far as licensing and things like that, we will do so. But if you do see them, please make sure that you let us know about it. And if you are the parent or grandparent of someone who owns those little bikes, make sure they understand the rules and safety, specifically the helmets. Actually, a former student from Reynoldsburg City Schools was actually in an accident recently on an e-bike, and it's not a good situation for anybody, so make sure you take care of that stuff. Other fun things going on. We talked about the street program, so we've got that one. The one thing that we did not talk about with Parks and Rec was our COSI Day for Reynoldsburg. You're going to start to see a lot of promotion for that after we get done with the 4th of July. So the week of July 20th through 24th is going to be an awesome day, awesome week for residents of Reynoldsburg. You're going to get a discount. So if you go online and buy your ticket, it's actually $5 off the admission fee when you go online. Plus you'll get an additional $5 for being a Reynoldsburg resident. There are going to be all sorts of cool activities. There's going to be some rat basketball and who knows what else coming along those ways, which I know some of the staff here is always excited about. But it's going to be a lot of fun at the COSI location. We are the first community to work with COSI on something like this, so we're going to make sure we do it right so every other community has something to look up to. But we're really excited because of the cool things that science has to offer at COSI. We did mention the adult prom. We also have, starting this Friday night, a game night at the Senior Center for those that are 55 and older, and I'm sure there's no money involved in any way, shape, or form, but that'll be at the Senior Center, and there'll be all sorts of cool activities and things like that Friday night. We also have the Food Truck Festival this weekend, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. We have the Intro to Archery. So the next event is on Sunday, July 12th, and fall sports registration is live. Any questions so far on anything?
It's about Wagner Road, but I know you're getting there.
I'm getting there. So, all right. So let's go ahead and just talk about Wagner Road right off the bat. So Wagner Road, right now what they are doing is they are putting the cement caps around all of the water infrastructure. There was a question on social media earlier about, okay, why didn't we do this before the asphalt? I'm not a street engineer, but this is the quick version of it. One, they have to make sure that they stabilize the water structures with concrete because, as we know, as temperatures rise up and go down, the road can move, and we don't want to have those pipes moving any more than they have to. So that's why they put the concrete bases down in there. The reason why they do that after the fact is because, one, it's a logistical thing. If you put the big pavers all the way through and it covers everything, it will cover all of the manhole covers, and they would have to dig it out anyway. So this way they just do it after the fact to do so. They were about halfway down on the west side of Wagner Road when I drove by yesterday. They should be hopefully finishing up today or tomorrow. And then they have a couple of other things to deal with. Specifically, AEP is reevaluating their design plan to make sure that we have power to that area. So once that is taken care of, they'll put that pole in. And right now, our lane markings are scheduled for the week of July 6th. The lane markings should take maybe a day or two at best. And then Wagner Road from Main Street to Priestley will be open in both directions. So that is the most up-to-date information that I have. Now, if AEP doesn't get their pole in and everything wired up for the electricity, that may delay things. If there's a lot of rain over the next couple of weeks, that may deal with it. But I think because most of the concrete stuff is done, I think really the last thing that we're waiting for at this point in time is to get those lane markings in and to get the streetlights and traffic light at Priestley all set. My guess is once they go ahead and finish up with phase 1, phase 2 will have a lot more of an official start date. So I would imagine that work will begin just after the 4th of July. Does that help with the Wagner Road question?
Yep.
All right. Other things, development. We have our Build Your Own Business event on June 25th. It's tomorrow night already. It's already here. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Columbus Metropolitan Library, Reynoldsburg branch, so you can check that out there. It's a really cool event because you can learn if you want to start your own business or if you want to expand your existing business. There'll be members from the banking community, from the contractors community, as well as people from the city in terms of building and zoning and things like that. And it's always a good event to try and expand and become your own boss or work to build your business a little bit bigger. So hopefully you can attend that. And also have some development news. I mean, it's not, it wasn't Bubba's 33, which has been getting great reviews out there. We're really excited about that, but we will be getting our Dutch Brothers Coffee House is going to be at the former Walgreens location on the Main and Bryce, and they have made all of their changes, so that way when we kind of realign that road, that building's not going to be impacted by it, so that's going to happen in the not too distant future as well. As far as other development, as soon as I know something, trust me, you'll know something. The state did pass an obnoxious law on certain things about development when any kind of incentive ability is being used. So we're somewhat limited in what we can say about that, but hopefully they're going to change that up and open it back up so we can talk about what future development may come. Question?
Yes, I have a couple questions.
Okay.
First one is a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm going back up to it. It says, with all the changes coming to Reynoldsburg, are we expecting that to affect the average homeowner with property taxes rising? And I noticed people requesting signatures to eliminate property tax. Is that something Reynoldsburg would ever consider, or is that something that must be done on a state level?
All right, so the first one, property values really are based upon, in essence, the market value of the area. We had Franklin County Auditor Michael Stenziano on a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about that. Basically what they do is they do comparable listings. So if you have a house on a certain street that has a certain number of bedrooms, a certain number of amenities listed that they can see from a visual standpoint, then they kind of get an idea of what that is, what that would be valued at, and then it would be based upon other homes in that area that share those same things that would identify it. So we as a city don't necessarily do that. I can say the property values in Franklin County in general have gone up for a number of reasons. One, because believe it or not, people do actually enjoy living here in Reynoldsburg. We are growing. We were about 41,000 in 2020, and then we bumped it up to about 44,000 in the midpoint census area. So we have been growing in that regard. So people do want to come here. The rest of it is based upon market economics. Now, as far as the elimination of property taxes, there was a petition that had been going around, but they were not able to collect the total number of signatures that they would have to do at a statewide level, which is the only opportunity that would be able to be changed. They did not put it on the ballot this fall, but they are still collecting signatures. The downside of this is, as with all things, okay, so if we get rid of all property taxes, which on one hand sounds like, yeah, I don't have to pay property taxes anymore. The next question is, okay, how are other services funded? Now, the city does not get a majority of its funding from property taxes. We actually get very little in terms of property taxes. Most property taxes go to your school districts, your fire departments, and other county services, maybe like something for senior citizens and things of that nature. So the question would be, how is that funding replaced? Which is a great topic, which I'll get into in a few moments, a little bit on that. We don't know what it was. There's been nothing at the State House that's been proposed. The only options that they've talked about is raising the sales tax to about 20 to 28%, or raising the income tax in areas up to 13% to make up for the cost differential and what those entities would be losing. Now, as far as the city goes, like I said, we don't get a lot of our money from property taxes. Out of our budget and revenue, we get about $500,000, about $500,000 in property taxes. Everything else is predominantly going to those other agencies, specifically the school district. So I hope that helps a little bit. But if you want to know more and have bigger conversations about that, I do have a town hall coming up on July 22nd. So we'll be going from the Bryce Park grand opening, and then we'll come back here to City Hall and have that talking at the town hall. And one of the things that I did want to talk about is this idea about fraud versus waste. So whether it's what's going on with some of the cuts that Reynoldsburg City Schools had to deal with, Reynoldsburg City budget, I've even seen comments because of what's been going on in Pickerington with their issues. There's a lot of conversation about, even at the state level to some extent, that we're getting rid of fraud. There's too much fraud. I don't think there's nearly as much fraud as what most people assume. And there is a difference. If there's something that there is fraud, be it at the city, school, state, municipal level, whatever, obviously we will investigate it, look at it, and if somebody's committing a crime, they will be prosecuted. That is a very easy thing. The question that people have a lot is waste. There's a difference between, what you think is waste versus what someone else think is waste. We can have that debate all day. There are plenty of people that think that we spend way too much money on our police department, and there are plenty of people that say that we spend way too much money on community events and parks and recreation. So our job as city officials, be it council, myself, is to find that balance to provide the options for everybody, to make sure that our police department is doing its job and making sure it has the resources to do so, while at the same time being able to offer a lot of community events, as we've discussed, all the way across. So there's a big difference between saying fraud and waste. Waste is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you like what we're doing in certain regards, you may not think that it's waste, but if you think that you personally don't like it, then maybe you're viewing it as waste. It doesn't necessarily mean it. It's just a different opinion. But those are the types of things that we talk about at the town hall to kind of understand what we should be doing, how we should be doing it, and all of that. So that's a good question and a great segue. And no, I did not plant that question. Anything else?
We do have another question. Can you give an update on the Hannah Ashton School property? Any prospect of a small park, shared garden, or other community space on the east end?
No, unfortunately, that's the school district's responsibility. They have the property, and I don't know what their plans are for it. They haven't really mentioned anything in quite some time. But I would recommend you reach out to the board members or the superintendent. And the next board meeting, I think, is going to be sometime in July. But as far as we're concerned, there's nothing there. No one's approached us with anything. In my personal opinion, taking my mayor hat off and just random Joe Q citizen, I think that would be a perfect place for what the district was looking to do a few years ago, which would be a pre-K K center where you have all of the kids, early elementary and elementary school kids, going on to that particular location in a refurbished and brand new building for that area. It missed out by a couple hundred votes a few years ago, by about 230-ish votes or something like that. And that would have been a huge addition to the city, because that is what is one of the reasons why it's led to some of the issues with the way the schools are kind of functioning at this point in time. But reach out to your board members and let them know what your thoughts are on that particular one. As far as green space and park space, we are doing some cool things with that. We are getting closer and closer to working on the park space that's right across the street from Memorial Plaza by Vic's and all of that. That is going to be a pocket park. We're just waiting for a couple of our the real estate deals to close, specifically the affordable housing site right across the street from City Hall and the youth athletic facilities. Once those are done, we're going to finish up that engineering, and then we're going to put that park space in there. We will also have park space at the new MI Homes development out on the east side, and we're always looking to find some other cool opportunities for that. So, all right. So if you want to have other questions about that, I also have a town hall. The town hall is actually going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be at the corner of Matterhorn and Tanya Terrace. So that's going to be fun out there. You look for a relatively large sign machine, one of the big message boards. That's where I'll go ahead and be. I'll be there right a little bit before 6:30. These are always fun opportunities. Either I have a lot of people, or it's just me and maybe one of the members of council walking around collecting trash for the day. Just kind of depends. But we talk about a lot of different things, whether it's what's going on in the city, different development questions. Hey, what's going on with my particular street in this particular area, that type of thing. I try and select areas where people have had concerns about road quality, speeding, or just in general areas that I've not been to yet. So that's the first one. The next one is going to be July 16th, a little bit later on in July. So hopefully you can make it out that tomorrow night. Looks like the weather, knock on wood, should be pretty good. We do have our concerts on the lawn this weekend, again with the community band, and then we also have our food truck festival this Friday, where Silver Springs, the Fleetwood Mac tribute band, is going to be there. And I don't have the list of food trucks in there, but there's like a ton of, well, I don't know, a ton of them, but there's a lot of them that are coming on the way. Do we have any specifics that we want to mention that are allegedly supposed to be here?
Allegedly. They'll all be here. I'm excited to check out this one. It's called If You Cheese. I just love the name. Schmitz will be here. Tortilla, Zaki Mediterranean Grill, Best Teas Drink Den. They always have lots of great drinks for the kids. A Cut Above, Schnitzel and more. And a little Italy.
Who doesn't love some schnitzel?
Yeah. Ochiros and Little Italy Restaurante.
There you go. Little Italy's, that's probably where my heart will go on to that one. But that's good. And it doesn't stop there, because next week we have the 4th of July. We have the fireworks, where we have Attaboy that's going to be performing. Gates are opening at 6 o'clock, right?
Yes.
All right, so gates are opening at 6 o'clock. People will probably line up much earlier than that. But remember, what do you have to have?
A wristband.
A wristband. And if you're driving in, what do you have to have?
A parking pass.
Parking pass. There you go. All right, so we'll have to work on the timing of that one.
Sorry.
That's fine. No
That's my
problem.
cue.
So we've got that going on. There's also the next Reynoldsburg Library is going to have their blood drive on July 26th. And then for the Tomato Festival, again, the reserved seating area is going to open up July 1st, right after the show. So 1 week from today, we're going to have that up there. And those are opening up the opportunities for Seven Bridges, the Eagles tribute band, on Thursday, Drew Hill on Friday, and Saturday is Everclear. And I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm going to bet all three of those things are going to be pretty packed up pretty quick. I bet you that the Friday and Saturday night acts will be booked before the end of the day on Wednesday next week, probably before we even get out of the building at 5 o'clock. But you know what? That's a good problem to have. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we've got that one. Other couple of fun things are coming on. Appreciate the social media posts. If anything, you have definitely elevated our social media engagement over the last month or so. Everything from our Pride and Juneteenth posts, as well as our Father's Day post, which didn't get as much commentary on as some of the other ones. But the idea about it is, yeah, there's community conversations there. I wish that people were a little bit more respectful with some of the things, specifically, well, really, even with both Pride and with Juneteenth. People are going to put what they put out there. I appreciate the people that put things out there that are them as opposed to anonymous users, just because, hey, if that's what you feel, that's great. Own it. We do here in the city. So we're going to continue to go on with that one. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then next week, we are probably going to be talking with our wonderful guests from Truro Township Fire Department. They're going to come here and we are going to talk about all things safety related for fireworks. And I know that everybody knows what they're not supposed to do with fireworks, but every year something weird happens with fireworks that people forget. I think it was not last year, but the year before, we talked about making sure that your fireworks are extinguished and they're in a bucket of water and things of that nature. And one family tried to do as best a job as they could, and it didn't work, and they reignited and part of their house caught on fire. So there's a reason why we have Truro Township coming in. We'll also talk more about the policy for wristbands and parking passes and things of that nature as well. So we're really looking forward to that one. We always have to get ready to continue to celebrate our Parks and Recreation Department for the entire month of July. So that's always going to be a good thing. And with that, I will see. I did forget. We did get one question about Civic Park. I think this question's been answered. But some of the people that live around Civic Park, there is going to be some fencing installed, but it most likely will be off enough that you can still kind of go out into that area and watch the fireworks. But if you want to enter Civic Park, you're going to have to go through the gate. You're going to have to go through and get your wristbands just like everybody else. But it'll probably be a little bit in that area.
Yeah, I would just say, just to follow up on that, I drove it this morning, so the T-posts are up, snow fence will go up probably tomorrow, so you'll be able to kind of walk it and see availability before we hit July 3rd and be able to answer that question for those residents that live right in that area.
But it's going to be a huge show. It is bigger than what it has been in the past, just from a fireworks component, and not including Attaboy and all of the food trucks, because I know there is a huge list that we will go over next week with all the food trucks in there. I know Ninja Bowl is going to be there. That's usually my go-to the last couple of years for 4th of July fireworks. All right, any last second questions? Have they come up?
Nope.
All right, so I'm going to wait 5 seconds and see if anybody else, because that's usually how it works. There's always somebody that pops up at the end. Okay, guess not. So again, everybody else, please stay safe, stay respectful. When you're dealing with fireworks, one, please be courteous of your neighbors, courteous of the neighbors' animals, and courteous of veterans that are out there, because obviously there are certain issues with that hurt. I know I never had a dog until my most recent one that cared about fireworks. Now when fireworks go off, she basically sits on my arm, and she does not leave. So that's one thing that we want to take care of, and obviously want to be respectful to our vets and our neighbors. You don't need to be shooting fireworks off at 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't need to be that way, so please don't. With that, stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, put your shopping carts away, and we will talk to you all next week. Thanks, everybody.